Hello everyone. I'm about to make some winding sticks. I have a nice piece of steel that came in my last unboxing video. I'm gonna cut a 36-inch piece in half, and then I'm gonna do a little talk and a little video on what winding sticks are, how to use them, why they work, etc., etc. So let me get going on this. I got it all set up, got my hacksaw, and I'm just going to cut it in half. Okay. That's awesome. Simplest tool you're ever going to make. So, let's talk about how to use winding sticks. Well, first, let's talk about what they are and why they're so important. First of all, they have to be straight. These are what I would call optical devices. You're going to use these to check the twist on the surface of a board, like this, when you're planing it flat. So there's really no mechanical way to gauge it if you're doing it manually. And so when you're using winding sticks, no matter what you use, if you're making them out of wood, they the edges of the stick have to be parallel. They also have to be straight, because if you introduce an error without, for instance, something was bent, or if it was sloped, if one end was thicker than the other, you're introducing an error in the stick that you'll have to fight every time you use them. So now, when you're planing a board flat, what you're doing is, first of all, if you imagine all the points on this irregular surface, imagine them as points, okay? So there's an infinite number of points on the surface of this plank right here. When you introduce the winding sticks, what you're doing is you're isolating the points that are underneath the winding sticks and eliminating all the points in the middle. And so what happens is, when the surface of your board is not flat, you will have a difference in elevation like this between the top of one stick and the top of the other stick. And what you would do is, if you have a high stick, for instance, if this is your high stick, that's the high end of your plank. So you would want to plane that end in order to drop the stick down, so that when you look across optically, so as this is set up, you're going to look across the tops of the sticks this way, and what you want to do is trim the surface of the board with your plane and your straight edge, so that the high spot gradually drops down until the surfaces of the sticks along the top are even when you're looking at them across the top of the board. So you want this end of the stick to be level with this end of the stick, which means that these two should also be level. When these are parallel to each other optically, and there's no twist, and you also use a straight edge, which these are good for straight edges as well. When this is straight, then that means your board is flat. Now, the thing that you should be aware of, in addition to that these have to be parallel and they have to be straight, is that they should be as long as possible. So for instance, my previous two pieces that I used are a little bit shorter. So these are my new ones, and these are my previous ones. So these are a little bit longer. Longer is better. There's a reason why. If you imagine that the limit of what you're able to see visually is, let's say the difference that you're able to see visually is a 1/16 of an inch, okay? Then what happens is, if you had a 4-inch winding stick and a 4-inch board, your error, your optical error, would be 1/16 across the surface of the 4-inch plank. But if you had an 8-inch winding stick and you still had the limit of vision of the 1/16 difference along the two tops at the ends of the sticks, now you have an error of a 1/16 of an inch in 8 inches, which is half of what you would have if you only had a 4-inch winding stick. So now if you went to a 16-inch winding stick and you were still governed by the same visual limit of a 1/16 of an inch on the end of your sticks, now you are, I don't know, I guess a quarter of the error that you would have with a 4-inch winding stick. So your error is less. So the further out your winding sticks go from the center of your board, let's say, the center of your board, the further out these 2 points are, the higher degree of flatness you can get when you look at the ends of the sticks and the shift that's in the sticks. So what I chose to do was take a 36-inch piece of steel, tool steel, and just cut it in half. This is quite appropriate for anything that I'm going to be doing for plane making. If you were doing tabletops, if you were doing much larger blanks or sanding or some other sort of milling process, you would just go to a longer winding stick. But what you don't want to do is go to a shorter winding stick. It's not going to give you the kind of accuracy. And then what you also need to do is realize that as you may be doing something like flattening a board like this for half an hour or an hour, hour and a half, whatever it is, your eyes are going to get tired. So what you want to do is be able to give your eyes rest to do what I call like let your eyes be fair. In other words, you don't want to let your eyes play tricks on you. So you're going to set yourself up behind the sticks and you're going to look and see if there's a difference in the height of the corners. You may look away, blink your eyes, come back, refocus your eyes because they will get tired, and then what you want to do is see if what you saw previously is what you see again, and then you're going to verify your own work. And then as you tune the surface, you're going to keep putting the winding sticks back until you can't see a difference between the top corners on each side of both sticks. And then you know that the entire surface is flat. And the beauty of these things is that there's really no substitute when you're flattening the surface of a board manually. So there's a little bit of elegance involved in something that's so simple as a winding stick. And if you watched my video on making your blanks flat, square, and straight this is how you do it. You make them flat with the winding sticks. Now, the reason that you would do all that is because even if you have a surface planer event or any other kind of equipment that gives you a flat blank, eventually what you're going to want to do is remove those machine marks. You don't want to sand those out. So you're going to have to hit your blanks with a plane anyway. And that allows you to finish all your planes with hand sanding. So everything is going to stay straight, the corners are going to be crisp, and then you're going to use the body of the blank as part of the precision work that you do because everything is still straight. So it doesn't matter how you get to the body, to the blank itself. Eventually you're going to want to flatten them and you're going to need winding sticks. So I like them because they're simple, they're elegant, they're effective, they're an important part of almost everything I do. I wanted you to know that because when you work, you should be aware of the same things. So thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, for liking, for disliking, leave a comment, have a good day, stay strong everybody, thank you.